The Super Bowl is right around the corner with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles set to face off this Sunday. But for many, the big buzz is more about the ads and less about the game. Well, let's dive into the tricks up advertisers' sleeves this year with the author of Creating Superfans, Brittany Hodak. Brittany, good to have you on the show here. So, people are always looking for the secret sauce for what makes that Super Bowl ad that not just stands out, but also ends up resulting in getting more customers, more eyes on the company. What is in that secret sauce?
Well, you're right. That's really the key, is not just having people talk about it in the moment, but actually to affect change. And to do that, brands have to connect their story with their prospect stories. They've got to make a point really quickly that's really going to connect and make people either want to try or retry a brand after the big game.
Now, I thought it was smart last year when they had the QR code ad, because I think most people sort of jumped off their TV and were trying to, catch it. You might not have invested in that. That was a crypto-related story there, but it did something and instantly made you act. How important is that distance between having your ad and having a customer actually act on it?
It's so important. And while we're definitely going to see fewer crypto ads this year, in fact, I don't think there will be any at all, we are going to see a lot of brands using call to action, whether that's through connected TV or QR codes. Ad Taxi did a survey and found that more than half of adults will have two screens while they're watching the Super Bowl. And one of them will probably be used for shopping and interacting, whether that's on social media or via QR codes. I think it's going to be really fun to see what happens with the partnership between Instacart and Michelob Ultra. They will have a QR code powering those instant connections in the ads, along with, I'm sure, lots of other brands trying to capture that immediacy.
And we know that crypto was the big theme last year. I know the Larry David one was one of my favorite commercials. Who do you think, or what kind of industry do you think is going to dominate this year's commercials?
Well, we're going to see a lot of alcohol ads this year because Anheuser-Busch no longer has the exclusivity. So we'll be seeing brands, not just beer brands, but also alcohol brands. And the first non-alcoholic ad is going to air this year for Heineken's 0% alcohol brand. So we're going to see a lot of alcohol ads. We're going to see a lot of celebrities making cameos. The Crown Royale ad with Dave Grohl is sure to be another fan favorite.
Because you have to wonder, celebrities obviously get a lot of pull, but then you have your TikTok influencers. If you're an advertiser and you're trying to think in terms of where I'm going to get the eyeballs, where I'm going to get the best return on my investment here, is it a TikTok or an Instagram that's a better bet for you than the money that you'd spend on traditional advertising on television?
Well, it really depends on that customer you're trying to reach. And I always try to talk about the before, during, and after. And obviously, the Super Bowl is a huge during. We're going to have 100 million people or more watching the big game. But brands are tapping into influencers to try to build that buzz before the big game and then, of course, keep it going afterwards. So really, the decision to use a big Hollywood celebrity or somebody who has tens or even hundreds of millions of followers on apps like TikTok or Instagram really depends on who you're trying to reach, because the number one thing that every brand has to do is overpower apathy. They've got to make those prospects and customers care. So if your audience wants a superstar, more traditional movie star, great. And if you're trying to attract people who care more about those online influencers, we're going to see more brands very smartly moving in that direction.
And Brittany, of course, we have to talk about the halftime show. So we have Rihanna performing here, but she's also someone who's a very impressive businesswoman in her own right with her own line of companies as well. How different is it going to be? What is she going to be perhaps building on when you have this performance and this massive platform while you also have a successful business behind you?
Oh, it's going to be amazing to see what happens. And with Rihanna, it's sort of all of the stars aligning. Not only has she been gone for a minute, people have been waiting for years now for this new music. She's got all of the brands, as you mentioned, and she's a new mom. So I think it's going to be really amazing, not just to see what I know will be a show-stopping performance, but also to see how she leverages that for all of her brands in the months and years ahead.
And what about some of these superstar athletes themselves? You have a million sort of things when it comes to name, image, likeness, and what they can do. How can they capitalize? They're in this show, but then how do they actually capitalize on some of these ads and the branding afterwards as well?
Well, we're seeing so many fun brands tap into athletes, both those who are going to be on the field and those who aren't, for ads like NFL Network for many of the beverage brands and chip brands. So we're going to see a lot of fun ads featuring some of those athletes. And again, it's a fun way to sort of extend the story, to sort of expand what's happening on field to into those commercial breaks. And that's really what's fun about the Super Bowl, is there's a little bit of something for everyone.
Indeed. I mean, it's not like Patrick Holmes needs the extra money, but hey.
Yeah, I think he's going to be doing okay.
He'll be all right.
We're going to see actually.
Oh, go ahead, Brittany.
Oh, I was going to say we're gonna see some fun ads and some fun integrations featuring family members of some of the players as well. I know Frida has a fun campaign, trying to decide whether or not there's going to be a baby born on Super Bowl Sunday. So there's a lot of things that people are doing both with the players and their family members.
Well, I love it. The more social, the better. A big thank you. Lots of great insights there. Brittany Hodak, there, author of Creating Superfans. Thank you for joining me.